What types of situations in the past when I was operating at the unit that caused the most stress or difficult challenges? Man, like the first time being shot at, I'll never forget it. What I thought I was going to do and what I actually did was very, very different. I thought I'd be cool under pressure. I thought I would, just respond, training would take over. And what I remember happening is my feet stopped. And I remember as bullets were flying by my feet in my head, and that definitive crack and seeing the dust kick up, that's as real as it gets. And what I remember is getting extremely small, and what felt like an eternity but really wasn't that long was a moment of quiet calm. And I remember it as if it was yesterday. And it wasn't until a buddy close to me kind of gave me a tap or a bit of a nudge, and that movement, it kind of pulled me out of it. So it felt like an eternity. It was probably a second or two. So how did I deal with that? It was after the fact that I beat myself up because I didn't perform the way I thought I would. In reality, looking back on the situation, I still performed, but what I thought I was going to do and how I responded to that was very, very different. So that's one example. Another example that causes stress is, everyone's a little bit different, but for me, it's letting guys down. So if I did something that maybe put somebody else in a position of jeopardy, or if I felt like I wasn't performing as optimally, and it really, and I'm putting the reliance on somebody to my left or to the right to pick up that slack, that didn't sit well with me, and that caused stress. And the way that I would cope with that and deal with that is recognizing that none of us are perfect. We all make mistakes. We're trying to minimize how many mistakes we make while performing. But the gravity of those mistakes, sometimes we will internalize that to be way worse than it is. So, if somebody's not getting hurt, seriously injured or worse, the mistakes are manageable. And it's important that we reflect on those, and with, self-introspection on what we could have done differently, how, if that situation unfolded again, what would we do to make the situation a little bit more optimal. I think that's the important part, and that's a coping mechanism, is not beating ourselves up, but acknowledging it, and then not only thinking about it, but putting things in place to ensure that in the future, should that happen again, we have a more viable solution that we can pull from the repertoire of knowledge and really residue from that past experience.